How's it going, guys? Another Darktide video here, one on the Ogryn. Just a casual build, you know, we're going power more, quite a weak build, twin stubber, and then we're going for the bombs away for a bit of fun, toughness, coherency, reduced damage, payback time, and the extra ball rush. Quite a simple little build. This is just a simple sort of tier for 2 grimoires. People seem to watch my video where I commentated it as I went through more. It seemed to just harness a bit more interest listening to what the commentary was about, so I was hoping I could show you a little bit of how I feel the Ogryn should be played. I know I went through on the veteran about how in certain situations you need to look at killing more specials and not waste ammunition on the horde, and also sometimes think about your party comp in condition to the loadout of your class. For example, I've got 3 zealots here. Apparently zealots must have just been very popular tonight, so I've brought a ranged weapon that will allow me to kill specials in the lovely twin stubber, probably my most favourite ranged weapon in the game. And then I didn't really need a horde weapon because under assumption I can imagine that I've got at least 2 zealots here with a flamer. I know the zealot that I normally play with will be taking the bolt gun just because he prefers to use that if there's already people in here. So I can see already there's a Grim hiding down there. Get rid of those. Gonna go for a nice grenade throw. I haven't really used this weapon a massive amount, if I'm honest. So I can't tell you what the sort of specialties of this weapon are. I personally do like the bleed build with the Ogryn. There'll be a guide going up soon on that, which that specialises in allowing you to have as much toughness as possible and making you as physically hard to deal with as possible. So, a little bit of a tip. When you are playing as the Ogryn, I see a lot of Ogryns sort of sit back and they'll sit doing this all map, just constantly with their gun out, spraying everything. Now, I'm not saying that's wrong to use your gun, you know, completely. But in a lot of games you're going to have psychers, veterans, who are a lot more sort of suited to taking out specials and shooting. So as the Ogryn, I like to be real nitty gritty in there. If I'm playing an extremely hard difficulty, I will be out sort of on the front line, slab shield, club, and then I normally take sort of the grenade launch for the grenadier gauntlet, mainly because if you do get large swarms of shooters, you can break them up, not let them actually settle in. If people want a video on actually how sort of the shooter AI works in this game, because if you're new to this game or haven't started playing it yet, shooters will mostly spawn in big groups as they did here, and then if they can put the pressure on you, they'll pressure towards you while using cover. So it is quite a different AI. A lot of people coming from Vermintide, myself included, it took a lot to get used to, purely because you're used to hordes and hordes of rats running at you in melee, and the odd thing trying to fight you at range, so you know, gas rats, flame rats, even though they were quite close ranged, gun rats, you know, whereas this game has a lot more ranged. Think Ungor spear shooters but on steroids. God damn those Ungor arrow boys and their 100% accuracy. Must have been wood elves in their past life. So as we push on here, I did say I thought we'd have flamers. I am yet to see flamers. Apparently I have made the assumption of flamers and no one in my party has actually brought one by the looks of it. Or they are just scared to use ammo. I'm not sure which one it could be. Just going to break up these guys. You know, your job as the Ogryn is to be straight in the front line. Obviously that's until that, I don't know if you guys have seen the leaks, but without spoiling it too much, it is looking like the next Ogryn class will be a gunlugger class. But as the Skullbreaker, your whole class is around disruption, knocking things over, making it difficult for enemies really to do what they want to do, which is sort of, you know, they want to set up, they want to sit behind cover, and things like that. I will just double check. I like to look in the spots just to see if I can see the Grimoire. You know, got to get those pesky contracts done. But obviously we keep an eye on down here because I don't know if you guys know, but it can spawn behind the stairs. That guy is just clipping through everything. But you know, like I say, the club, I really like the moveset. I'm not too sure about the charged attack, but I'm a massive fan of the moveset. You know, you can see here we've got a lot of shooters. We really don't want these shooters to set up. You know, they sit behind cover, they start breaking toughness. They just become a real pain in the ass. Whereas if they're focusing on me, you know, I've got zealots there which can happily disassemble the rest of them. While I sort of push everything over, knock everything over, you know. You're sort of like hitting the enemy with a rock. It'll take a while to kill them, but they're going to keep falling over. So, it's always the bonus. You know. You see, you get some specials that get away, like that Rager. I don't really want to fight him in melee. Same as that big guy. He's stunned. Take this chance to get a reload. And I do like the using this gun when you get the chance to. I know it's very addicting, but I do find a lot of Ogryns, especially on high difficulties. Obviously this one's not too bad, mainly because it is just a low intensity tier 4. Get these grenades. At any chance, I'm normally one for sharing supplies, but if there's grenades going, you take them. See if we can get a long throw. Oh, we got a hit. We got the bulwark. I don't think there's much more out there. In this chance, see, it is okay to sort of, you know, use and abuse the sort of shooting to kill those rages. We've got a really heavy melee focused team. Obviously the Grimoire's up there, I'm sure you guys noticed it when I did, but I'm going to put a ping up there because I physically can't take it. We've got a burster that apparently got lost, but we leave that to them. So we keep moving through here. You know, we're at the midpoint of the map now, in my opinion. Grenades again, we want those. That worries me. But there is two there. Do I need to do the charged attack more? Is that what I'm missing with this weapon? Seems an interesting heavy attacks, but I do like the light attacks on it. Everyone's ready to go here, so I was just shooting purely because I didn't want to drop down without nobody. But we'll break the shooters up and then just start chopping into them. You know, the zealots are going to appreciate it. They don't want to be shot. No class in this game really does exceptionally well with being shot. And as an Ogryn, you've got the perfect tools to break up the shooters, knock them over. Realistically, just trying to be a giant pain in the arse. We don't want to get anywhere near that burster, but what I will do is I will break this group of shooters up and keep them knocked over, kill them, stop them from, you know, we really don't want them to set up. Right, we've done with that, and then let's just chop through these. Got one hiding behind me. they've dealt with that shotgunner. That guy's dead and the first door's done. So, again, I can't express this enough to you. It may seem like I'm repeating myself to you. Sometimes I do obviously lose where I am talking wise because this is live commentary, you know, this is exactly me talking as I play. I think it's important that you guys get a gist of sort of, you know, what I'm looking for when I play the Ogryn. Now, I'm not someone that is aiming to tell you guys I am the best Ogryn player on this planet, because I'm not. You know, I can complete tier 5 difficulties with the Ogryn. I have completed difficulty 5s with the Ogryn. I've completed difficulty 5s on every class but the Psyker. I am a god-awful Psyker. Pray to the day you never get me on the team with that class. But it's a big thing that, for beginners, I think this game is very different from Darktide. And it's very easy to sort of see the same creators. Maybe you've played Darktide 1 and 2 and thinking, yeah, it can't be that different. It is a massively different kettle of fish. But I want you to think as playing the Ogryn, as it's sort of like playing the Ironbreaker. You know, you're there, you're in the midst of it, and you just want to cause as much anarchy as possible. You know, you want to knock everything over, you want to stop the gunners from setting up, you want to miss all of your melee attacks like that. But the more time that I'm here beating on the dread gunners, stopping the shooters, pushing hordes back, you know, it means the game's becoming a lot harder to shooters, because if you've ever played this game, especially this map, you'll know notoriously the shooters like coming down here and they sit by these stairs, and it's an absolute nightmare when that's sat in. If you've not got, say, like a lightning staff, or, you know, someone with a good gun on the veteran, getting them out of there can be a real difficulty, and they will just sit there the whole event just shooting you constantly shooting you, and it does quite a high amount of damage, you know, especially when you're running with double Grims. Grims are quite brutal. They do sap on your they sap on your health quite a lot. Obviously those shooters, they count as flak units wearing armour, so you do get the explosions on your grenades if you've got, I think it's called the big box of hurt. And I think the grenades have very select uses. I put them on purely for a bit of fun, but they do benefit massively, Ogryns do, by having the reduced damage from other Ogryns and increased damage to other Ogryns. They're both extremely good perks, without a doubt. We're going to help the Zealot here, just chop through it, make sure the shooters don't get to set up. We're going to close that door. And that's why you play with pre-mades, because they tell you where the grenades are. Now these grenades with the big box of hurt actually do a lot of work to bosses. It may sound a bit daft, but if you can get a good grenade on him like that, and then follow it up with another one like that, yeah, that's a lot of damage. Now normally I say when it comes to bosses you want to be straight in its face, you know, the Plague Ogryn, you want to be tanking that thing, stopping it from ripping into your team, but you don't want to the Beast of Nurgle, because at the end of the day it's just going to eat you, and one less teammate alive makes it a lot harder on your team. You are sometimes better just using your gun, putting the bullets into it. Plague Ogryns you can tank, Beast of Nurgle, oh, didn't see that. The Beast of Nurgle is just going to give you a shit ton of corruption, and I mean like an ungodly amount of corruption that you really don't want. And you know, with the Grimoires as well, you'll be sitting on black and white without being hit, and there's nothing that feels worse than sitting on black and white. I will get this sniper in a second. We're going to sit here for a minute, gain some toughness, and then put some firepower down of our own. As you can see, this is quite a low power variant of this gun. Less than ideal. You know, we're only talking, I think it's about 380 power, difficulty 4. You want more power, but sadly with this game, it's just really unreliable when it comes to weapons. You know, I've got weapons that I have no interest in using that are high power, but you know, you just have to take what you can get in this game. But I don't want to rant too much about the game because I do thoroughly enjoy it. You know, there's a lot of things in the game that should have been on release completely. I'm not saying to anyone looking at this game that it is a perfect piece of art and it's going to make you smile all day, every day. But if you've got a few friends, it is extremely fun. You know, the atmosphere of the maps are beautiful. So as you can see, what I'm doing here is charging heavy attacks. It doesn't matter because the Reaper just took all my shield away. But charging heavy attacks because that replenishes my... Jesus. A lot of trappers. That replenishes my toughness by hitting multiple enemies with heavy attacks. Let's see if we've got no grenades. Just a hell of a lot of ammo. Not ideal. But you know, here we're just going to try and stagger a few. Try and get some bullets into the horde, you know. We might as well, there's not much else to do. We've got a hell of a lot of ammunition. You know, this gun is... This always makes me feel like if you guys have watched the original Predator with Arnie in, when the guy picks up the minigun and just absolutely mows down the forest. The gun just gives me such Arnie vibes. It's real. It is such an amazing weapon. Really is a favourite. It makes me really happy to see what the Ogryn gun lugger class is going to be like. But sadly, until then, we need to focus more on the melee side because that's where we excel. We're going to pop over to the Medicaid station purely because, you know, I don't want to lose my Grim. I will cry. No, I'm only joking, but when, you know, I got really unlucky on my contracts and the re-rolls this week, so I think I'm sitting on currently 25 maps, 12 Grims, and 25 scriptures. You know, I'm not sitting on a great time. You know, you're talking probably a few days of pure playing. Let's get these shotgunners knocked over. Because if they turned round on me, they were going to be more of an issue. Then that guy, we'll just hit him till he eventually falls over. And then we will see that guy running through. Obviously he's going to hit me with his Tokyo drifting abilities. Got to give it to him. An impressive guy. We shall make a charge over here. Now personally, when it comes to the end of this mission, I always prefer to sit up here than down there. I feel like forcing the enemies into this sort of chokehold is more beneficial for the team. At this point, again, you might as well just shoot your gun. You know, they're mainly shooters. No one really wants to run out there even as an Ogryn, because if you've played this map, you know that snipers can spawn over on that ledge. And then also that ledge there. Neither of which are very fun. But now the horde's picked up and we've got some ragers running here. We'll get involved, we'll break them off. Like I said, there's a bit of leeway with using ranged fire in this party, purely because we've got a lot of zealots. I really dislike having a huge amount of one class on a team. It becomes near unbearable to deal with in hard difficulties. We're going to knock these over because we don't want the whole team being shotgunned. Again, unfortunately we got hounded, but you know, we want to keep these down, not let them set up, not let them get in cover, because no, you just don't want to get shot. I can't express this enough, the team does not want to be getting pinned down by a huge amount of shooters. It doesn't feel great. That one little Poxwalker really fancied his chances. So when it comes to the Ogryn, I know people ask about sort of what curios I use, how I feel the Ogryn should be played. As I said, if you've played Vermintide, it's like Bardin. If you've played MMOs, really you're more on the tank bruiser side. I'm going to charge this again. You know, bunch of shotgunners here. Stop them causing issues. I'll happily take being hounded. You know, they'll shoot the hound off. I've got plenty of HP, but we'll keep these shotgunners down. You know, we're clearing up now. As you can see, it's a very easy play style. Don't get me wrong, I think you do need to learn sort of what enemies attack like, and you need to get used to having a lot more sort of stagger power than what you would normally be used to. You know, the Ogryn, really you feel the strength behind the Ogryn when you hit. It's, you know, you get a real good satisfying feeling of you hitting a large amount of bodies with a slightly charged beating stick. We'll give him a crack on the head to make sure, and then we just need to be careful of specials. Excuse me, sorry about that. But this has been a sort of a guide on the Ogryn, hoping you sort of get a feel for the Ogryn. The best thing you can do is go out there and test the different melee weapons. This is not the most fun melee weapon. I love the cleavers, the knives, even the shovels are quite fun. But you know, people have been asking for an Ogryn video, and there you go. Thank you very much, guys.